Játékos Pelletier mai Deshkijni initially Billiganabash's Chin, Lachini Dashache, Billiganabash Nole. Welcome back to Res Ball. This time we're going to talk to you about Colorado State guard forward. He can play a couple different positions. Nique Clifford. Nique is short for Dominique, if you want to know. So full name Dominique Clifford. Another guy along with Yasiel who is a tremendous story of development. I know a lot of people like Nique last year. It was really like 50-50 whether he went back. And boy, oh boy, was it a fantastic decision. So let's get into Nique Clifford right about now. Nique Clifford from Colorado Springs, played at Colorado Springs in high school. And I mean, he's Mr. Colorado at this point. Started at Colorado in Boulder and then transferred over to Colorado State back home in Colorado Springs. So again, Mr. Colorado basketball, if there ever was one. He went to the Vanguard School. I'm not gonna lie, when I found the name of that school, I was like, this sounds like something out of Harry Potter, or like where they send, the Rohirrim or something from Lord of the Rings to go train there at the Vanguard School. So at the Vanguard School, final season, Nique Clifford, this is indicative of who he is. The final season, senior year of the Vanguard School, 26.3 points per game, 13.7 rebounds per game, 5.9 assists, 3.5 steals per game, and 2.8 blocks per game. Again, that's going to be a recurring thing with Nique. He can do just about everything, and those rebounding numbers really, really, really stand out at every single level, including here in college. Getting all our data again from Sports Reference here. Nique Clifford, in final season at Colorado State, he's a fifth-year senior, 18.9 points per game, 9.6 rebounds per game, 4.4 assists, 1.2 steals per game, 0.6 blocks per game, and then 2.6 turnovers per game. Shooting splits for Nique, 56.4% from two-point range, 37.7% from three-point range, and then 77.7%. It's all 7-7-7s from the free throw line. I imagine this true shooting percentage is going to be fantastic, right? Yep, it is 60.3%. The last two seasons, his best seasons, the seasons where he got the most minutes, the seasons where he started, both seasons over 60% true shooting percentage. Last year was 60.9% true shooting. This year it's 60.3%. You cannot have better shooting percentages, true shooting percentages as a non-center. Any player that's not a center that can average over 60% true shooting, that means you're not wasting a single shot. Everything you are doing is right. And this is somebody who is the lead ball handler, the leading scorer for a Colorado State team. He was kind of supplementary last year, but now Nique was the man this year, 27.7% usage and 60.3% true shooting. He's taking the end of the shot clock shots. He's the guy the offense is running through. He is also the primary creator for this Colorado State team with Isaiah Stevens going to the NBA and being with the Heat and Sioux Falls City Skyforce. Nique took over 26.8% assist percentage to just 14.1% turnover rate. I technically think that's his career low. I mean, as a freshman, it was 7.3%, but he only played 14 games, so I don't think that counts. Career low in turnover percentage while having a career high also in usage percentage. Nique can do just about anything. And why, oh, why do I keep harping on the rebound numbers too as well? Is look at the size on Nique Clifford. It's not like he has gigantic physical advantages over the field. Nique Clifford at the combine measured at 6 feet, 5.25 inches tall without shoes, 202 pounds, 6'8" wingspan. So it's not even now like with the wingspan. He has plus 2-3 inch wingspan. Technically, it's 2.75 inch wingspan plus. We'll round it up to 3 for him. 6'8" wingspan. Again, it's not like this guy has a gigantic wingspan. Even the weight 202, it's not like he's like all rocked up and whatever, and he's not super tall. This is a guy that's guard size, like shooting guard size, pretty much 202 wing-ish weight. And yet the rebounding is one of the things that sticks out. The last two seasons at Colorado State, over 25% defensive rebound rate, 25.1. And last year's a fourth-year senior. This year's a fifth-year senior, 26% rebound rate on the defensive glass. And then overall, both seasons, last season and this season, 15% total rebounds. I mean, just look at the totals on these things. Man, I mean, there are centers who would kill to have these rebound numbers. 237 total rebounds, defensive rebounds last year for Nique. 293. My goodness, I wish he'd gotten seven more to get to that even 300 defensive rebounding. There is no better defensive rebounder who's not a center here in this draft class. I mean, pretty much in almost every draft class. And the totals last two seasons, 275 total rebounds last year, 346. Oh man, again, just four more, man. I wish you gotten four more to get to 350. Again, there are so many centers that we cover in this draft class that are not going to approach these rebounding numbers. Nique gets on the class no matter what. And I mean, the comp is going to be, if you know about non-rebounding centers, guys who are wing size that rebound this well, you already know where the comp is going to come from later on. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. Nique is one of the easiest guys to argue for. I mean, if you wanted to have him in your top 10, that's again another super easy one. Yeah, he's older, but we went over it. Ever since he was in high school, gets points, gets rebounds, gets assists, gets steals, gets blocks, all those things. Good defender, 6'6", in shoes, 200 pounds, 6'8" wingspan. That's all great. The rebounding is top notch, better than even a lot of centers here. The more usage he got, the better he got at efficiency. And now he's at the level where he was a primary creator and has a very low turnover rate, his lowest in his career. And you look at the shot chart. The very first thing that stands out to me at the rim, Nique Clifford was 89 of 124 shots for 71.8%. Speaking of numbers that centers wish they could have, that percentage and the number of shots at the rim do not lie. That's the first thing on tape that always stands out to me is like, man, this guy knows how to finish. Not a mega athlete, but he's like what I call a Jerry Rice athlete. I'm a Niner fan, so I obviously got that Jerry Rice bias, but Jerry Rice famously only ran like a 4.6 40, which is super slow for a receiver. But every Jerry Rice film you see, he's running away from guys like Deion Sanders and Darryl Green, the fastest guys maybe that ever played cornerback, say they had trouble keeping up with him and handling his quickness and handling his speed because when Jerry's been asked about it, he's like, when I'm testing in those environments, like I just can't give it my all. It's not until I'm out there in the game that like it seems like I unlock my top gear and I unlock my top speed. I think it's that same way with Nique. It's like, sure, in testing environments, he might be like, whatever. But when you watch the film and the tape, it's like, oh, he finished that pretty good. Oh, man, he got in there. He's quick. He's able to hang with people. And then the finishing, it definitely shows up. It's just that like desire and the love of playing. It just gives him an extra gear. It gives him an extra like half-inch vertical to finish. He also has really good touch, as evidenced by 38 of 82 in the paint. The runner floater game on point, able to get some turnaround, a little bit of post stuff and whatever. I mean, Nique is probably one of the most complete players in terms of like the bag and the tricks. He can do a bit of everything. He do some things in the post. He can do things in like the triple threat. He is a primary ball handler who can handle and distribute like a point guard. Not that you want him to play point guard full time, but as a supplementary ball handler, second side guy, fantastic here. 45 of 99 in the mid range, 45.5% from the entire mid range. Again, he has advanced mid range stuff to where he can get to a pull up and he can do some things from the baseline and both elbows. And then from three, 52 of 135 from above the break three is 38.5%. He's hitting them from the long areas of the court. As the primary guy, you're pulled away from the corners. You're the one that normally has to take the tough shots, especially at the end of the shot clock, or you have to create off the dribble and create from top of the key, both sides of the wing. And he shot 52 of 135, 38.5% from those long areas. From the corners, there's only 14 of 40. That one I'll kind of hem and haw on because obviously in the NBA, nobody's going to give him this kind of usage and this kind of role where he's the lead guy. So I think the corner numbers are number one area of improvement is like you're going to come in, you're going to be a supplementary wing. You've got to knock down the corner threes a little bit better. And he is somebody that unfortunately is one side dominant. From the right corner, Nique Clifford is 7 of 17. And then from the left corner, Nique Clifford is 7 of 23. So you got to work on being better in the corners. But with all the other progression and stuff we've seen of Nique being a supplementary dude at Colorado, coming to Colorado State, being kind of like the second option to Isaiah Stevens at Colorado State in his fourth year, senior year, and then this year, them turning the offense completely over to him and doing everything here, finishing, getting the mid range, getting the runner floater in the paint, shooting from three really well. Again, this is the easiest case. Like, if you don't think that guy turned into a quarter 3-point shooter in the NBA, you must not believe in many guys to develop then. Break it down further from above the break threes. There's only really one area where he struggled. Now is from left wing, 16 of 58 for 27.6%. Not good, but top of the key, 24, 52, 46.2%. And then from the right wing, 12 of 25 for 48%. So there's really only left side. He's left side weak. So you got to work on the left side on the shooting side of things. But it's probably really going to depend on like who his other teammates are and who's kicking the ball out to him. So again, I believe all the other development things that he can iron out those shots. And he's so good from the rest of the area on three that the percentage is going to reflect that, as it does this year, 37.7%, as it did last year, 37.6%. I mean, last year, he's another guy that I wasn't really high and completely sold on, just because there's really only one year where he had production. There's really only one year where he was a consistent shooter. And then this year he comes in, he shoots pretty much the same percentage, and the attempts go up from 109 threes to 175 threes. Again, for anybody that is thinking about going back or wants to track development, like Nique is a good case to study because of how he built upon that. And if you go back to your final year, even when you seem to be on the up and up in the draft space, you got to go back and do this. You got to go back and dominate, and you got to go back and show you pretty much have the complete package, which Nique does. Again, in the mid range, I don't bring up the mid range too often. It's just when you show you have advanced stuff, it's worth highlighting. Nique was 16 of 17 from the right elbow. That's his worst spot in the mid range, 35.3%. But it's the shot he took the least everywhere else. From the left elbow, 11 of 27, 40.7%. That's solid. From the right baseline, 9 of 22, 40.9%, also solid. And then from the left baseline, he was elite, 19 of 33. It seemed like whatever he could do from that left baseline, it was money. Every time he was in that area, it seemed like it's going in. So it's like, Donis Haslam, elite baseline kind of guy, to where if he's in that area and anybody that has a good scouting report him, they should be like, push him out of there. That seems like an automatic bucket. And the fact that he shot that jumper so well from the left baseline makes me believe, like, yeah, he's going to be able to stretch it out and still knock it down from that left corner. Again, Nique Clifford is one of the easiest guys to argue for from everything we looked at. He has ideal wing size, going to be 6'6" in shoes, 202 pounds, 6'8" wingspan. The production, everything stands out. This guy can get points. This guy is an elite rebounder. This guy turned himself into a elite ball handler that in the NBA, you're not going to turn the offense over to him and have run it. But if you already have your guys, if you already have your Cade Cunninghams, if you already have your Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickleys, if you already have your De'Aaron Foxes, if you already have your insert point guard that's already in the NBA here, like this guy is going to come in and absolutely be stellar in anything that you want him to. He's probably going to come in and be a 3-point shooter first and foremost. You definitely want him to come in and be a defender, which is the other underrated part of Nique Clifford's game. To me, is the guy that just doesn't take plays off, doesn't take possessions off. Really, he is going to be a defender, maybe first and foremost, switching into the NBA. There's not many guys that have under 98% defensive rating like every year in college, let alone all 5 years. Nique Clifford as a freshman, defensive rating 90.7%. As a sophomore, 97.7%. As a junior, 97.6%. Then as a fourth year senior, 94.7%. And then this year, when he took on more usage and more responsibility on offense, it's still 96.1%. Anytime it stays under 100, like that means that you are working, that you hold your man to be inefficient, that you are consistent there and giving your effort and making sure that you're disruptive and that you're smothering whoever you're guarding. If you want to just look at the Block and steal numbers too. Those are positive. Both last year and this year over one steal, 1.4 steals per game last year, 1.2 steals per game this year. Last year, almost average a block per game, zero point 0.9 blocks per game. And then this year for Nique, zero point 0.6 blocks per game. The totals on that 50 steals last year, 43 steals this year, 32 blocks last year, 22 blocks this year. Part of the reason the block numbers went down is he was less of like a help defender and more of a primary perimeter defender, but he can do either things. I know 6'8" isn't like the ideal type of length if you want to do small ball four, but the way that Nique rebounds and that he's 6'6", and we've seen guys just pretty much the same size will man the four spot. Again, Nique is incredibly versatile. He could play the point guard if you really want him to be a backup, or if you have another jumbo creator like a LeBron James, like a Luka Doncic, like a Cade Cunningham, then you can slot Nique at the point and have him actually guard that position while Cade, LeBron, Luka guard other spots. You can have him play the two guard or really either wing spot, right? And be a 3-and-D type of dude that if you kick it out to, he has all this advanced stuff of getting into the post, being able to have a runner floater, finishing at an elite rate. Cannot say enough good about him. And then if you want to play the small ball four, he can get in there on the glass and get dirty. And he has been able to do that in one role at Colorado State to where he was more weak side and almost average a block per game at his size. Like, man, Nique, super versatile. I said it at the beginning. If you know about guys who are around the size 6'5", 6'6", that rebound, Josh Hart. I mean, Nique is Josh Hart because Josh Hart pretty much the same thing. Like he fantastic defender, super tough, the elite non-center rebounder. Like there's maybe the best guard rebounder of all time. And I think Nique could get to that level as well. Again, 13.7 rebounds in high school. And then you come in here in Colorado State and pretty much average almost 10 every year that you get major minutes. Cannot say I'm good things about him. I think Nique probably rounded himself into a little bit more of a consistent shooter than a Josh Hart did. That's the main thing with Josh Hart is he's like kind of up and down shooter. This year in New York, he's fantastic. Part of the reason why they've been so successful. And Josh is always that guy that every last single team needs because of he does everything. He can fill in at point guard if you want to because he does have that ball handling, passing. I also think Nique has a better handle and is more of a point guard than a Josh Hart is. I just really like Nique. And again, this is somebody that if you're unsure after pick 5, you're like, I don't know, I need somebody that I know is going to work out and stay in the NBA a long time that I know can supplement my stars, but also gets out of trouble pretty easily and consistently stays focused on defense. Nique is your guy. I have Nique not quite ranked in the top 10. He's somebody that like I have to kind of calm myself on as you can tell because I'm like, yes, he's good, but what exactly is he in the NBA? Again, the profile, everything lines up super well with Josh Hart. So I do think every team that looks at him is going to look at him that way of like, look at the rebounding, look at how he has ball handling things. We want him to mainly be a shooter. And then if he turns into something else, cool. 22 is where I have Nique at right behind Drake Powell. But I'm not going to lie. If it's probably somebody who's like, we need to know this guy's going to work out, then he jumps Drake. And again, in the top 10, it's hard to have a 23-year-old guy up there. The age doesn't matter to me, but for a lot of teams that pick in the top 10, they're like, we want the younger kid who has upside, quote unquote, that we can develop and spend a longer time with. Again, it is what it is. I definitely have to push Nique up, I think. Probably in the like 14-ish range, probably at the end of the lottery. But yeah, 14 to 22 is his range. I have Nique at 22 right now, but again, he's somebody that I just really like and I feel like is going to work out. Maybe the quintessential Heat culture kind of guy. I would not be surprised if the Heat move up even just a little bit to get Nique. I think they have pick 20. If he's there at pick 20, that seems like a no-brainer to me. So some things to look at for Nique in terms of film. My guys over at No Ceilings, NoCeilingsNBA.com. Go subscribe to Substack, YouTube, podcast, all that stuff. They've been on Nique for a while. They did a lot of good interviews and things with Nique. So if you want to hear from the young man himself, go check out No Ceilings NBA. Hardwood Hoop Central NBA Draft Green Room. Again, another super long video, 3 hours, 25 minutes, 28 seconds. Every last single thing you want to see on Nique is there. Go check it out. And then last but not least, that Charlotte Hornets account, man. I'm like, did not think that I'd be recommending a Charlotte Hornets YouTube account this often this draft season, but they've done a really good job with their combine interviews. Again, if you can find any of those combine interviews, the Hornets account is the one to use because their audio and video is better than everybody else's. So go check those out on Nique. Again, another guy that I just really love to watch. And he's somebody who's fun to track their development, just like a Yasiel Lindenborg, where it's like go back at the Colorado seasons, check out what he looked like. Look last year at Colorado State and then this year, and it's just fantastic, fantastic story of development and one of the easiest guys to argue for anywhere between picks 11 to pick 22 in the 2025 NBA draft. We'll return next time with a whole new position group, whole new grouping of 3 players. You will see what that is. Probably going to be all super elite guys. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening to us. We'll catch you next time. Go on it.